One of the saddest days of my life was when my mother told me Superman did not exist. I was a comic book reader, and I read comic books, and I just loved them, because even in the depths of the ghetto, you just thought, he's coming, I just don't know when, because he always shows up and he saves all the good people and they never end up. I was reading, I don't know, maybe I was in the 4th grade. My mother, I was like, Mom, you think Superman is not real? I was like, he's not. What do you mean he's not? No, he's not real. And she thought I was crying because it's like Santa Claus is not real. And I was crying because there was no one coming with enough power to save us. Kids look at the world and they make certain predictions based on the evidence they're receiving from their peers, from their parents, and from their teachers. From their perspective, the world is a heartless, cold-blooded place because they realize they've been given the short end of the stick and they don't know why.
There are a lot of documentaries out there that touch us inside, films that bring our attention to suffering going on in the world, civil war in Africa, immense crowding and poverty in India, social change in Latin America. But Waiting for Superman is one that literally hits us at home, because the end of its story doesn't finish in some far-off land. It's our story. Well, what is that story? According to director Davis Guggenheim, the answer isn't pretty. American schools are crumbling. Kids are doing poorly in academic subjects, and government and union intervention only seems to be making it worse. Guggenheim presents some startling statistics, such as the fact that only 40% of students across the nation are proficient in reading and mathematics. And amongst the scramble by reformers to fix this problem, the ones who should be getting helped are getting lost, and that is the kids.
I want to be a nurse, I want to be a doctor, and I want to be a veterinarian.
How come?
Because I just love animals, and I would like to help somebody in need.
How'd you get that idea?
I read books in the library.
Guggenheim makes this film incredibly more personal with his various cinematic techniques. He uses direct-to-cameras throughout the film to make it seem like every interview is directed straight at the viewer. The angle of framing also contributes to this personal feeling by putting us not only on the same level of the educators and experts, but on the level of the kids, who are the most important people in the film. You don't just see what's going on, you're living these people's stories. Also, to get the point across even more, simplistic and comical animations drive home a very disturbing reality.
So when you have a system that's completely dysfunctional, you see good people do strange things. In Milwaukee, they call it the dance of the lemons. Here's how it works. Principals have their lemons. These are teachers who are chronically bad. They know it. The other teachers know it. The school knows it. But the union contract says you can't fire them. So at the end of the year, all the principals get together and they do the lemon dance. Fred gives Jack his lemons. Jack gives Sally his lemons. And Sally gives Greg her lemons. The lemon dance. Each principal hopes the teachers he's stuck with at the end of the dance are somehow better than the ones he's getting rid of, and that this year he'll finally be able to take his lemons and make lemonade. Each state deals with this in a different way. In some states, it's pass the trash. Others, it's the turkey trot. In New York, they have something else.
The structure of the film is also incredibly effective in getting Guggenheim's message across. In the film, he looks into the stories of 4 different kids. He shows their hopes, their dreams, but also their substandard educations that are failing them. In examining alternative forms of schools, like public charter schools, he sets up these alternative forms of education as the only way out for these kids. And he makes the climax of the movie the lotteries to get into these small schools. It is an emotionally charged part of the movie that brings us all into what many people have to go through to get an education.
Fregoso Andrew. Cabrera Alondra. Jamel Fall. And our accepted second graders, Emmanuel Aguilar, Terrell Chapman.
9. 22. The remaining numbers will be on our waiting list.
I can accept. Yeah. I won't give up on my kids.
But why does Guggenheim bother to even address this subject? He's been the successful director and producer of police dramas, such as The Shield, 24, and Alias. His other two documentaries, An Inconvenient Truth, released in 2006, and It Might Get Loud, released in 2009, cover diverse topics like global warming and the history of the guitar that have made him millions. Why would he want to cover a topic like education?
What inspired me to make the movie, and it really wasn't that. It wasn't about being inspired as much as feeling every morning. That feeling when I drove my kids to school and I drove past the school in my neighborhood. But I'm lucky. I have a choice. I have found a way for my kids. I found a great education for them and at great expense, and I don't mind paying it. But this feeling like that's not enough, that I will take care of my kids and move on. And I think we do whatever it takes to make sure every kid, no matter where they're born or what they're given, in this country we give every kid in America a great education. And that's what sort of drove me to tell this story and to make this movie.